right, so the next category we're gonna talk about is art. Now, if you're relocating in, or maybe you lived here for a while, maybe art wasn't such an important thing, but if you're driving around Miami, it's hard not to see the art, not to notice it. And that's one of the things I noticed my first couple times down here on vacation, and then ultimately coming down longer periods of time and eventually relocating down here is the art. I mean, buildings are art. There's art painted on buildings. You can't get away from it. So the design district is, the first thing we're gonna talk about is 2x4 Vortex 2014. So what this is there's a big wall that kind of separates the design district, it's part of the building from, I don't know, highway and stuff like that. And what they did is, in Miami, thank God they're intelligent enough to do this, is they had an artist come in and paint something on it. So they painted it like a vortex. You'll see the images scrolling by. And a vortex is indicative of something that leads you in to get to the other side, makes you inquisitive. What is on the other side? That's what a vortex is. It sucks you in. So, I didn't even realize that until I read about it, and that's kind of what it is. It's sucking you into the Miami Design District. So it's really, really cool, black and white. Check it out. Okay, so the next piece up is gonna be, it's hard to miss this. It's called $1 a Gallon 3 in 2019. So again, it's hard to miss this piece as you're walking through. You'll see by the images scrolling by, it is actually a Sunoco gas station sign leaned over sideways with the prices of gasoline on it. So it has a lot of mixed and subliminal meanings that I'm not going to get into. You can definitely read about it online if you want, but if you go through the design district, you're not going to miss this thing. So the next piece is Adler Guerrier, and it's called Four Freedoms. And it is a billboard, a painting that kind of represents equality. It addresses a creative response, so to speak, supporting racial equality. Okay, now in these videos, we're definitely not going to get too heavy into racial equality and creative, etc. But I just wanted to bring this piece of art to your attention. So when you come to the Design District, you'll check it out. It's something, it's part of the US history, but you don't want to miss it. Check it out, give it some love, get it up on your Instagram, do some tagging, etc. All right, so this next piece it's not a painting, it's not a mural, it's not a sculpture, it's an actual piece of art that was physically built, physically creative. It is called Buckminster Fuller Fly's Eye Dome. Now, if you see it, you've probably seen images of it right now. It looks like a fly's eyes and it looks like an eye dome, doesn't it? All right, so it sits right in the main courtyard, and it's really hard to miss. You can't miss it, actually. On a busy day, it's hard to actually get a photo of it because there's so many people taking photos of it. I had a hard time getting this little video clip and photos of it that you're probably looking at right now. All right, so the next thing we have is Conscious Actions by GT2P. Now this thing here is really cool. It's something for the kids. So we have, it's interesting to try to get kids most kids aren't typically involved in art. They're interested in video games and social media and I don't know, maybe some sports and stuff like that. But this will kind of give them a little bit of gateway to art. They won't even know it. It looks like a playground. If you check it out, you can see kids swinging on it. And while they're swinging on it, the top of it moves. I thought it was really super duper cool. All right, moving on to Jade Alley by Daniel Toole, 2017. So this is actually pretty cool. It is kind of like connects two buildings, so to speak. It's concrete walls and facades, and it kind of gives like new life, and it's kind of nondescript. So like when I first saw it, I said to myself, is this art? Is this part of the art concept they're going with? Or is it just, I don't know, the concrete guy got a little bit lazy and didn't finish it? No, but it's actually art, and it's really cool art. When you walk through, you'll see it. So the really cool thing about this is, what it did is it just kind of took over an alley. So there was an alley there, and what it bridges the gap between some existing buildings and some new buildings. While it's doing that, it changes in scale, light, shadow, etc. It's really cool. You have to check it out. All right, the next piece is another Daniel Toole. It's called Steel Alley, and what it really is, it's a secondary entry for the parking and pedestrians, and has a strong visual identity through the folding of these rusted steel plates. So this is back from 2017. And rusted steel has made, it kind of made its way up into Pittsburgh, where I'm from. And we're seeing this on new construction houses now rusted steel, really super cool, very artsy. You'll have to check it out. 2015 Pritzker Architecture Prize winner, Frey Auto, designed this super cool tent, so to speak. It's not the most intricate looking thing, so it's a little nondescript. You might not actually think it's a piece of art, but it is, and whenever it's hot out, it provides some ever desired and needed shade, and it's not uncommon to find people hanging out there doing some yoga classes, etc. So just a small little piece that, again, just makes Miami Design District that much more. They're using every little nook and cranny of the design district to get any kind of art. Some super eccentric, super, it takes a lot of work to make, to even something as simple as this tent. All right, so Gaetano Pesci has made a very cool facade for a pop-up ice cream store, and it's basically these upside down ice cream cones in the palm court. Again, it goes along with the auto freight tent. It doesn't have to always be so eccentric. Sometimes it can be understated and simple, and that's what they are. They're just two ice cream cones turned upside down that's on the facade of a building. Pretty cool. Okay, Iwamoto Scott facade is, it's part of the City View garage, and I don't even know how to explain it. It's like these steel 3D diamonds that covers part of the garage. There's not much I can say about it. It's just something you really have to check out. This kind of is the opposite of the simplicity of the tent. And this probably took a ton of work to actually make. But again, it's just one of those things, like Miami dresses up, and artistically their parking garages and stuff like that, it's mind blowing. I love it. All right, the Leong facade of the City View garage is something you've got to see. It's titanium coated stainless steel panels. I mean, it looks like titanium cotton candy, so to speak. It's actually called curvilinear shapes. Now, I don't know if it's one of those artist things that they just made up, or if it is actually a word, but it's something you definitely have to check out when you come to Miami Design District. I would say it looks like some sort of shimmery, glistening light fixture, so to speak, when the lights are on at night. It's really, really cool. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about the Marc Newson dash fence. It's actually just outside of the design district. It's not in like the palm court or the main area. I actually had a hard time finding it. And during the daylight, it was kind of even hard to even understand that it was art until I looked at it from an angle. So it's basically what it is a 100-foot fence installation, design, architecture, high school, dash. And like I said, when you look at it from an angle, you'll be able to tell it's wavy, has a thin metal frame, and I just noticed when I did a little research on it, it's 400 vertical fins, and they vary in different depths, which kind of creates a sort of changing pattern, so to speak. So the appearance of the fence shifts based on the point of view, and that's kind of what I was saying earlier, up close, far away, from the side, head on. This took a lot of work, but it actually ends up kind of understated. So you kind of have to look at it from different points of view to understand its artistic effect. So Netscape 2010, it's a 24-seat web hanging chairs. It's very cool. It's an interactive piece. It's not, when you go over there, it's underneath like a trellis full of shade, especially on a hot day. And it's just fencing that you would actually sit on, kind of like a hammock. I mean, it's suspended in the air. You can rock back and forth. It's a super cool place to grab coffee, sit down and swing back and forth, or maybe grab a book or whatever, or watch my YouTube videos. So I've talked about multiple facades. I've talked about multiple parking garages being turned into art, but there is no doubt the most flashy, eccentric, and cool one is going to be the museum garage. Now check this out. This thing has multiple colors, multiple pieces, multiple depths, different framework. I mean, this is, again, this would be the opposite of the tent, if I'm using the tent as an understated piece. This thing is just freaking amazing. Again, most of this art is gonna look better. These facades and that are gonna look better at night when the light kind of shines on them or through them, but you definitely gotta check this piece out. It's crazy. All right, by the way, what do you think of our beautiful sun? Well, I guess we missed the sunset in the earlier video. I tried catching the video so you got some sunset. You can see what the Miami sunset looks like. I may have missed it, but I'm doing a better job at these videos. Okay, the next thing is super duper cool. It is, oh man, how do you even explain it? It's called Nuage 2017, and it is a series of round glass bubbles that are in some sort of steel casing that is overhead, so it kind of provides shade. It's not like any other pergola you've ever seen. That's what it is. It's a pergola. And as I was saying, it's got these round glass things, so it acts as like clouds. So it looks like clouds up there. I mean, I'm doing a really bad job at explaining it. So hopefully the photos and the videos you're seeing explains it a lot better. Again, it's one of those things. This might be one of those things that if you're just walking by it, honestly, I've been in the design district multiple times, and I bet you the first time I walked through it, I might have been resistant to what was considered art. I might have just thought that was kind of odd because I didn't watch this video before I went. You will have a different opinion your first time there after watching this video, but yeah, I mean, it was just kind of, you walk under it and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Then you kind of understand it and you realize, oh my God, an artist made this and it's art. Okay, hands down, I've probably said this multiple times. Hands down, my favorite piece is Sou Fujimoto building Façade. So this is, I love glass and I love lights. This is like this blue glass that is glass walls with separations with air and ceiling. And so obviously the sun shines in it, you know, sunshine state every day, and it casts this blue light down in these different patterns on the ground. I can't really explain. You can see it from the top level and the bottom level. Again, I do a horrible job at explaining art. It's probably not a good thing considering I want you to keep watching my YouTube videos, but don't worry. You should be seeing videos scrolling through and photos and everything else, and eventually you're just gonna get there. Then you're probably gonna comment below and be like, I get it, Brian. I don't think I'd be able to describe that either. Or maybe you will be able to describe it, and then you can just put your description below. All right, so we're gonna talk about the Urs Fischer bus stop. So what it looks like is a bus stop with all the advertising missing. I mean, it looks like a bus stop, and it's kind of confusing when you first go through. You're like, why is there a bus stop there? Maybe you don't even realize that it's a bus stop and there's no way a bus can get there. Like, it's not on the side of the road. So it's pretty cool. It has a skeleton there as well. If you come around Halloween, you might think somebody put that there for Halloween, but no, that's part of the artist's rendering. So the skeleton I was referring to, it actually lies on its back. You can see from the video here, and it has a constant trickle of water that lands on its head and forms a pool below. So it's one of those artistic things that, you know, you and I just may not understand because it's a little too deep, or maybe the artist doesn't even reveal why they did that, but it keeps you guessing, and then maybe that's the whole idea. So you'll find more art by this artist to see what's next. This is my favorite art piece. It's called Le Corbusier. Le Corbusier. So what it is, geez, I mean, how do you describe this thing? It's a sculpture. It's a physical piece. All right. And it is an older, looks like a white gentleman with glasses on getting ready to write something. And it's just his bust. It's like, no, it's half his body up. Makes no sense to me. I don't understand why. So I don't understand why they did that, but it's really super cool. It's big too. Like, you can go up and take a photo with it, like a selfie with it, etc. All right, so that is all of the art I'm going to talk about. There is a ton of art. There's a lot more I didn't put in there for no specific reason. I did pick some of my favorite pieces. I didn't dive too deep into all of the art pieces because most of the info you're going to get is about the history of the artist and the art piece itself, and I didn't want to bog down the video. So you can catch all that stuff on the Miami Design District website if you want to go the next step further. My purpose is just to introduce you again, because, you know, these videos are for people considering relocating into the South Florida area, or those that live here that don't know about this stuff. I just kind of want to open your eyes just on the surface of what there is out there and what you should put on your to-do list when you visit the Miami Design District. So hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit subscribe button, click all notifications, and we don't want to miss anything. We're going to be moving on to one of the last things, my favorite, what the Design District is really all about, and that is luxury high-end shopping. We're going to get into it right now.